Thanks for tuning in. Your barbershop sports talk.
So, Kenny, first I'm going to ask you this. Who is your MVP of the league this year? Now, there's a couple choices, right? Or maybe you're not going to have any of these choices. There's Aaron Rodgers, who's probably the fan favorite. There is Patrick Mahomes, we've mentioned. Super Bowl, the reigning Super Bowl MVP of this league. I think we'd still agree he is the best quarterback in this league. There's also a guy in Josh Allen who has been part of a huge turnaround for the Buffalo Bills where they've done something that they've never done in history of something they haven't done in recent history. Russell Wilson was really hot to begin the year. Guys like Derrick Henry were really great carrying their teams. Who is your MVP?
My MVP this year, he's going to win it, is Aaron Rodgers. And Aaron Rodgers, you take a look at Aaron Rodgers, and he was one point away from having the highest quarterback rating in a single season in NFL history. He was at 121.5 this year. He had the highest QBR, led the NFL in touchdown passes with really a video game like 48-5 touchdown to interception ratio. You add all that up. More touchdowns, better quarterback rating than Mahomes, higher completion percentage, completed just under 71% of his passes, and you do all of that, I think, by looking at Aaron Rodgers and thinking, where would the Packers be without Aaron Rodgers this year? And you take a look at who he's throwing to. Take out Devontae Adams from this. He's throwing to Martez Vandal-Scantling. He's throwing to no first-round skill guys, running backs, tight ends, receivers. And he got better from last year. I thought he was an exceptional year last year. And then you take a look at Aaron Rodgers. In his 16 games he played this year, 14 of those games he had a quarterback rating over 100. I mean, rarely did he have a bad game. An average game, at least. His one where he went under 100, they still beat the Carolina Panthers in Week 16. You add all that up. This was a revenge tour, kind of a flip of the bird to the Packers front office, and Aaron Rodgers went haywire this year, and he got them as a better team than they were last year, as a better team back to the NFC Championship, and as the 1 seed in the NFC.
So, next, what we're going to have for our NFL awards is this. So, Offensive Player of the Year. There's guys that we can choose from. Alvin Kamara, Derrick Henry. Stephon Diggs had a really great year. I'm just thinking of non-quarterbacks. Even the quarterbacks, right? There's Aaron Rodgers, Mahomes. Who would be your Offensive Player of the Year, Kenny? And even Kelsey. Oh, my God. Kelsey was great.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, there's some really good performances. But I'm going to go with Derrick Henry here. Derrick Henry being one of 8 running backs in NFL history to go over the 2,000-yard mark. Last person to do that was Adrian Peterson, won the MVP in 2012. Derrick Henry keeps getting stronger as we move on through this career of his. Over 2,000 yards as a running back. Just one of 8. That's really not seen anymore. You really don't have that bell cow back anymore in the NFL. And for him to do that, I think, and really take a look at Offensive Player of the Year, it's really something that sets you apart, not only in your season, but maybe, throughout a generation or lifetime in the NFL. And to go over 2,000 yards as a running back in this day and age, I think I'm going to give him the award there. And he also led all running backs with 17 touchdowns, and he averaged 127 yards a game rushing. So I'm going to give it to him.
By the way, do you think there's another level up for him to go? Or is he going to plateau now?
I think he's probably going to plateau. I don't know how. I mean, take a look at what he's done the last 2 years. I don't know how you exceed that. And I think we've talked about it a couple of times. I think at some point, those carries are going to add up for him. And he was at 378. He had over 400 last year. That's a lot of carries to take on, even for someone like Derrick Henry at a very physical position. But I still think he'll have solid seasons. But I don't see him going for 2,000 yards again next year, back-to-back years.
So let's go to Defensive Player of the Year. Aaron Donald, one of the best defensive players in all the NFL. He's a name that I think of just off the top of my head. A lot of guys that you can pick from. T.J. Watt had a really great year for Pittsburgh. Who is your Defensive Player of the Year?
Yeah,
and Myles Garrett, your guy, Myles Garrett too.
Yeah. Unfortunately for him, I think the COVID kind of took him out of putting up the stats that were close to league leaders. But here I'm going to give it to Aaron Donald. Having 13.5 sacks at the defensive tackle position is something that you really don't see. Not edge rusher, defensive tackle. 20 tackles for losses, so you add all that up. I mean, he was making over 2 plays a game, every game, in the opponent's backfield. Big plays that way. Forced 4 fumbles. Graded out, I think he graded out one of the few players by Pro Football Focus as that elite group, elite player at over 90 grade. And with a lot of QB pressures and hits as well, you add all that up, I'm going to give it to Aaron Donald in that case. And he was also the trigger man of the number 1 defense in football.